Hey kids, hey parents, I hope that Sunday is starting well for you, and I'm glad that you guys are taking time to watch this, to take God's truth that we talk about here at church and to put it into the details of your life. We're going to continue to going through the Old Testament, and today we come to Isaiah. He was a prophet that God sent. Remember, God's prophets were like his mailmen. They didn't make the message, they just delivered God's message. And so he brought the message that Israel was going to face God's judgment for their sin. They were worshiping idols, depending on those idols, and they were treating each other really bad, unjustly. And so God called them to repent, to turn away from their sin, and to turn towards Him. And Isaiah told them, if you don't, God will bring consequences. Just like He said a long time ago, He will bring consequences. See, we're completely dependent on God, and we can't save ourselves. And so if they would turn from their sin and trust Him and come back to His covenant, then God would spare them from those consequences. But sin really has consequences. Now, I'm going to show you something to show how dependent we are on God. I've got a ping pong ball here. Now, I can't make this ping pong ball float. I can bounce it, but then gravity just brings it back down. But watch this. Move it around a little bit. Make it. Oh. See, that ball was completely dependent on the power of the hairdryer, the wind that was pushing it up. And we're like that with God. We need Him. We can't save ourselves. We can't fix our own problem. We can't hold ourselves up. But God says, turn away from your sin and depend on what Jesus did for you. The life that He lived that was perfect, the death that He died to take your punishment, and then rising from the dead so that you wouldn't have to face death forever, and so that you wouldn't be under all that sin brings. And so that's what that choice is, something that we all are faced with. Just like Judah was faced with, the people in the south part of Israel, they were faced with that choice. Would they turn away from their sin and their idols and their injustice and trust God and obey Him, or would they not? And they didn't, or at least most of them didn't. So how about you? What choice are you making? Are you running towards sin and just what you want to do? Or are you turning away from it and trusting Jesus? Talk about those things together as a family. Talk about them and see where you need God's help, where you need to depend on God and let Him hold you up, just like this wind was holding this up. So encourage each other with those truths as well, that Jesus, He holds us up. He's alive forever, and we can depend on Him. Now, I also have a word for the week for you, and it's actually two words. It is go Braves.